Is a special day. It's Lunch Bunch Day. Tomorrow, and our thanks go out to Smith's Food, Hanson Mortuary, Walmart, and Stokes for all the gift certificates. We're going to be over at Denny's Restaurant. They also supply gift certificates for the drawing, and thank you very much, Thomas and Terry. And Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley, America's Diner. Delicious food. I have got to try those red velvet pancake puppies with white chocolate chips, cream cheese for dipping. Does that sound good? And pumpkin cream pancakes. I mean, the list goes on. Great food, great dishes for you at America's Diner. Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. Tomorrow, Lunch Bunch. You be there. Morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Zeb. This is Jeff. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was listening to the radio last night, another program, and they were backtracking a little bit on what Trump said in the past here, and there's one thing that I really like what he said. We're going to say Merry Christmas again.
You know, Jeff, I am so thankful that you called on this morning because it leads me right up to my top number one story for the morning, and that's the theft of the baby Jesus from the nativity scene in Rupert. And I am going to push for Merry Christmas. I'm going to push extremely hard this year to keep the real meaning of Christmas as the birth of Jesus Christ, and I thank you for leading me into that.
You're very welcome, and you have a wonderful day today.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. We reported yesterday, my dear friend Gary Shoresman called me on the air and asked if I was aware of the Jesus missing from and stolen from the nativity scene in Rupert on the square. I said I was not. Well, things kind of snowballed from there. And I said that I would help pay through my company to restore the baby Jesus, and then we've had some other callers call and offer money and to restore the Jesus to the manger. Now, here's a couple of things we need to consider, and I'm not going to weaken on this. Number one, the reason we have Christmas, and if anybody's offended by this, fine. You've got two options. You can remain listening now, or you can take your thumb and your forefinger and turn me off, okay, if I'm offensive to you. The reason we celebrate Christmas is because of the birth of Jesus Christ. It is not Santa Claus. It is not the Christmas tree. It's the birth of Jesus. Now, if that offends you, fine. You go celebrate it in your own personal way, but leave me alone and leave most Americans alone and leave most of the world alone that knows it's a Christian holiday, and it's because of the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, the baby Jesus was stolen from supposedly the nativity scene in Rupert. I have talked to Rupert Police Chief James Wardle. I have said that I will donate money to it. Others have said they would donate money to it, which we will. But there has to be somebody that wants to step forward and take over the chairmanship of receiving the money, holding the money, getting the money so that a purchase can be made to replace the baby Jesus in the manger. We can't let these absolutely hateful people win. When a store puts up something in their window that signifies and exemplifies and absolutely typifies what the meaning of Christmas is with the nativity scene, and they are ostracized, and people are saying, well, gee, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. Why not? It's about high time that we as Christian people started showing some backbone and not be cowards and ashamed of Christ. Someday, folksies, someday, he may be very ashamed of you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
Upset.
I am upset also. What I would like to see with the money that's being gathered is a reward for the original baby Jesus to be brought back.
I agree.
And those who have taken it be punished. Because I think these punks or whoever have this idea of, oh, they'll just buy a new one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I just think that it's very important that there's consequences for what has been done. So if there's any way that that money could be raised for a reward for the original baby Jesus to be brought back, or brought back with no questions asked,
No, wait a minute. Whoa. Wait.
The kids have the mentality, or whoever took it, oh, they'll just buy a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that that's right.
Well, let's do this then. I challenge the city to call on the air right now this morning. Ma'am, if you would call somebody that you know that works for the city, I want to know a price. I want to know how much it's going to cost to replace that baby Jesus. I want that call this morning. It's only fair to those of us like myself and others that want to help contribute for it. But the overage, I absolutely agree with you, should go for a reward to punish these criminals, which they are, and let other people know you can't do things like this.
Exactly, because it all goes back to the participation trophy. There's no consequences. Just pat me on the back and send me on my way.
Yeah.
Mentality
Yeah.
of things that, I can do stuff and get away with it, and someone else will pay my way, and it's all good.
Well, it's not good at all, because this is a trend.
No, it's not.
I know.
No, it's not good, and it's not how it should be. And I think that more people need to start standing up and stop being politically correct and draw the line in the sand and go, we will say Merry Christmas, we will celebrate Christmas, we will have nativities, we will do these things.
I'm so glad you called, and I'm so glad you really amplified my thoughts about we still will, we will not quit, go away and leave us alone. I'm not going to weaken on this. Now, here's what I'm going to ask again. If there's a member of the city of Rupert listening that knows the cost and expense of replacing the baby Jesus, it's easy. All you have to do is go to a telephone and hit the numbers 436-2244. That's my number. Call me and let me know the cost. Then I'm going to issue to the audience that we start a fund. Then I think we should automatically also have some chairman step forward that will handle the money. There are names, but I'm not going to name them on the air, that I think would be very appropriate to handle the money. And let's not only pay for the new baby Jesus, but start a reward so we can absolutely arrest or find out who did this dastardly deed.
Exactly. Because I think if people, and they run it in the paper, know that there is a reward, someone will rat someone out.
Good, I hope so. Good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your call.
Thank you, Deb, God bless, and thanks for all you do. And I'm sure that you're going to hit on this later, but I just found it interesting on the news this morning to find out that some of the people that they arrested, they're on the demonstrations and stuff against Trump, weren't even registered to vote.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll cover that. I'm anxious to see what you have to say on it. But
thank you so much.
Very interesting.
All right. God bless you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a good day, Jeff.
It's funny that lady would say that about the protesters, because that was absolutely my next little story that I was going to touch on. But again, it's not that hard. Come on, folks. Let's get unified. Let's get unified. I put a challenge out to the churches. I put a challenge out to the pastors. I put a challenge out to the congregations. Okay? Maybe donate in the congregations another $1 or $2. Maybe the churches en masse could donate, let's say, $50-$60. Not going to break your church. And let's get somebody that's going to be the chairman. Let's get baby Jesus back in the Nativity, and the rest of the money for a reward to go get these bad people or this bad person that wanted to do this. You got to stop this idiocy, and you might as well unify. And if it can't start first with the churches and then private citizens, even myself, yes, it's about time to stand up, act a little bit like John Wayne, and say enough is enough. Okay? Now, I need to know the cost. Everybody needs to know the cost. So, City of Rupert, why aren't you calling in? Don't tell me you're not listening. Don't tell me anybody with the city doesn't listen to this program. I know if we make a mistake or a faux pas, they'll jump on me like a cat to a plate of milk. So, come on, give me those figures and let me know. But let's get this restored. Don't let this Christmas be an empty manger. Come on, Rupert. Step up. Fight back. And to those that say, oh, gee, Zeb's on a soapbox. It's just a little doll out of a manger scene. Big deal. That's repulsive. The significance of the manger, the significance of Jesus and his birth is the biggest deal of all time. Let's get somebody active on this. Don't weaken. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. And believe me, I'm not going to weaken on maybe hurting somebody's feelings. That's too bad. If this hurts your feelings, and as church members or pastors, you go, oh, well, he's asking us to contribute. Well, yes, I am. Step up to the plate. If you're going to stand up at that pulpit, pastors and congregations are going to go to the churches and celebrate Christmas, then don't let an issue like this happen in your hometown. Stand up and fight back. Calls welcome, 436. Evidently, everybody's sitting there on the phone going, oh, I don't want to call. I don't want to call, man. I don't want to call him. I'm scared to. Somebody might recognize my voice. Come on, this isn't a program for cowards. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a jingle. The lady mentioned just a few moments ago about these pathetic protesters, Portland and other places across the United States. And it's been verified that nearly 70%, and I want to amplify that, 70% of these criminal protesters that should have been arrested, handcuffed, and if necessary, dragged to a paddy wagon, thrown in and taken to jail and locked up, did not register and did not vote. What disgusting human beings. Well, we're going to burn Portland. Well, we're going to break windows. Well, we're going to destroy businesses. We're going to really hurt these private enterprises. We're going to show them. And they didn't even have the backbone. I hesitated because I almost said something else. They didn't have the backbone or the smarts to go register to vote. And the pathetic loser left, and they are losers, Jesse Jackson, Michael Moore, and others are standing up for this violence. And I will say this, and I mean this, and this might offend some people that are absolutely, oh, let's just go along and get along. The police in Portland and other locations of this left lunacy, they wear billy clubs. Batter up. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. You know, one thing I've been thinking about, all these early releases that Barack Obama has given to all these violent criminals, I'd like to know how many of them are leading these demonstrations out there that we've going on all over the country.
I don't know. I wouldn't have any idea of knowing. I haven't got any reports on that. I haven't seen any studies about those wackos that have been released, and now they're basically going to be part of the tumult that's going on in our cities across the nation. I don't know.
You know, you and I have put up with Barack Obama for 8 years. You and I didn't go out demonstrating, breaking windows, causing all kinds of damage. And here we have somebody comes along that looks like he can put this country back together again, and they won't even give him a chance.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. The left has said stupid things, done stupid things, but that's okay because they're the liberal left. The only reason the left acts this way, Tony, you know the reason on the open borders and everything else, is because they're trying to buy votes to have power to run this country forever. That's the only reason. They're absolutely traitors against the Constitution, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, if Hillary had gotten in, we'd have a two-party country.
Yeah.
It would be governed by the rich, who would overpower the poor. It's just got two-class society, the rich and the poor.
Yep.
So we're fortunate to have Trump. So maybe their eyes are open when they see industry going up and they've got more money in their pockets to spend. So let's hope so.
Amen. One can only hope. Tony, God bless you and Mary. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Hey, don't forget, a wonderful lady, and she knows sound. She knows all about sound, I'll guarantee you, and hearing. Dr. Christine Pickup at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Oh, my goodness. She's the only locally owned and independent hearing healthcare practice in all of southern Idaho. The number to call, make an appointment, 312-0957. Right across from the Minidoka Hospital Emergency Room. You please call, do yourself a favor. You owe it to yourself. If you're noticing a diminishment of your hearing, please call her, and she has lots and lots of answers. A wonderful person, Dr. Christine Pickup, 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. By the way, also, Sophie's Chatterbox, and get ready for Thanksgiving. My goodness, if you haven't placed your orders yet for your pies and your cookies and everything else, you better call at 436-0354. Sophie's Chatterbox, 530 East Street in Rupert. Get your Thanksgiving requests in now. And don't forget, Sophie sponsors our free cookie giveaway on Mondays. Sophie's Chatterbox. Delicious. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You imagine the left and the Democrats, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Michael Moore, Tom Stiers, George Soros. Honestly, I'll stand behind this. I'm not going to weaken. The only reason they want open borders is to buy votes for their party. The Democratic Party under the current leadership with Obama is so un-American and devoid of constitutional principles that they will say, well, come on in, you know, we don't care if you're legal, illegal, whatever, come on in. Yeah, and guess where they're going to vote? And then we had that nutcase, Terry McAuliffe in Virginia, that used to be in the inner circle of the Clintons and then became the governor of Virginia, pardoning just before the election 67,000 felons. Oh, golly. I wonder which way they would have voted. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. Well, you know, the Alinsky model is still playing out. You know, one of the things they've tried to do all along is divide and conquer, and that's one of the three main tenets of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. Well, of course, now the media is doing that to the Trump transition team.
Yep.
They're trying to stir up any kind of division they can think of, you know, in order to make their point. And I thought it was interesting, maybe you picked up on this as well, Zeb. ABC, of course, Tom Brady and New England Patriots lost the football game last Sunday. And even though there were a lot more exciting plays at the end of any kind of a football game, you know, that last weekend, no, they picked on the New England Patriots because they failed to convert on and get a touchdown there when they had an opportunity. And they were just chuckling about that. I thought, this is the kind, they're just poor losers.
Yeah.
And like as, you know, the Democrats have lost, I think, 11 governorships, or 13 governors, 13 governors and 11 senators and 60 congressmen since Obama went in there. So, and hundreds of state and local officials, they still haven't got the message. And they're just going to do this divide and conquer. And we see the news media is not going to back down from their socialist stand. And so, anyway, I think it's important that people realize that we've made a lot of progress, but we have to hold these guys' feet to the fire.
Oh, right there. Whoa. Adrian, there's your point right there. Stop. Your point of holding their feet to the fire, that is the key. You could have rambled on for 20 minutes and not said anything more important than what you said right there. It is now our duty. It is now our job, your job, my job, everybody's job, to absolutely grab onto Mike Crapo, Simpson, Labrador, Risch, everybody that we can have any audience with, and demand excellence, because this is an opportunity they cannot throw away.
Well, I'll give you an example. I've called back to Senator Risch's office a couple times real recently, and to try to get a commitment. I've given my email address. They've already have it, but I gave it again. And I said, I need to know how you stand, Senator Risch, on the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Yeah.
And I know they're getting flooded from the farm groups. I work in agriculture. I want trade, too, but not highly regulated trade, and thrown in with this 554-page monstrosity.
That's right.
That's going to merge us. Zeb, we don't want that.
No.
I can't get Risch and Simpson to say one word one way or the other.
Well, I tell you what.
I presume they're still favoring it.
Well, I tell you what, Adrian, I got to do a commercial break, but I am on your side on this. I have criticized many of the ag groups. I've criticized a lot of the general groups that have been in favor of this, regardless of whether they're ag groups or not. Don't get tunnel vision, because the TPP, in the way it's written now, is absolutely tying the hands of the United States. I got to run and do a commercial break, buddy. I really do. Thank you.
One comment I want to make is that the solution is to negotiate trade separately.
Yep.
Totally separately, and not highly regulated like these other agreements have. NAFTA's been bad. The Korean agreement, they've all been bad. They've all favored the other guys. So the people that are doing negotiating are trying to kill our economy.
Got to go.
And put us into a world government.
Got to go, Adrian. Thank you. Appreciate it. He's right. And it's about high time, and I've said this before. Wait a minute. I got to do this commercial break, and then I'm going to really blow up over this deal, because I am mad about trade agreements, etc. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Calm down, Zeb. Pass the deodorant. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street in Hayburn. They have warm hearts for cold noses. Oh, I tell you what, they've got great vets over there. Dr. Bill Fulcher, nice man. Dr. Liz Schrepfer and the rest of the crew. Ark Animal Hospital is a mixed animal practice, which means big or small. They love them all. Absolutely. You be sure and get a hold of them today. 678-1177, Ark Animal Hospital. I got to say it again. They have warm hearts for cold noses. Don't forget, too, my buddy, Tim Vaughn, Streamline Precision. Nobody does it better. Nobody builds them better. Nobody. You better get a hold of him today at 431-7314, Tim Vaughn. Attention, dairymen, I'm telling you what, do you need feed lanes, mangers replaced? We'll call Streamline Precision. They specialize in demolition and replacement of concrete feed lanes, excavation of new feed pens, gates, shade covers, buildings. Now's the time. Get it done this winter so it's ready to go in the spring. Streamline Precision, 431-7314. My friend Tim Vaughn. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Once again, I am surprised, and I am not happy that somebody from Rupert City Council hasn't called us, or the hierarchy of the city, and called us. What kind of a loss did you incur on this baby Jesus being stolen? Let me know. You've got people willing to help and replace it out of their own pockets. At least call and let us know. I want you to think about this past election. The pride that Trump has as a businessman. I got into a conversation, and it wasn't a very nice conversation the other day on the phone. And, Trump this, Trump that, he's evil. Wait a minute. Trump is a businessman. Caller, stay right where you are. I'll be right there. Trump is a businessman. And he has made and executed great deals to make billions of dollars. He's got pride in his work. I honestly feel that whether you like the guy or not, it's irrelevant. I think he's got the pride of being a businessman that he wants to put that same pride to work in making good deals for America. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, I was listening to CBS News this morning, and they said about Dr. Ben Carson, which I think is the most kindly spoken man that I know. And this is what they said about him, that he is thoroughly disgusted with this whole transition, and if he's offered a job, he's not going to take it, and if they make a call, he will not answer. Now, that don't sound like Dr. Carson to me.
No.
I think they make it up as they go along.
You know, the New York Times and other very malicious left-wing nuts that are involved in the media have tried to make the transition team sound like a bunch of bumbling, fumbling, and inept people. It's not. And everything's going according to Hoyle. And what really gets me, Keith, is some of the verbiage that the left uses and gets away with, like what they said about Steve Bannon. This is really something. They wanted to have Steve Bannon get chosen as chief strategist and senior counselor to Donald Trump. And here's what an article in the Bloomberg View said with the author Jonathan Bernstein. Bannon is a longtime professional bigot. How would you feel if somebody wrote a story in the paper about you, Keith, and they said, well, Cottam is a professional bigot? Wouldn't you be incensed over this? This is the left being as cruel as they can.
Well, this is where they want you to retaliate, so it makes them look bigger.
Well, there needs to be retaliation, and retaliation with honesty and straightforwardness is the best way to go. It's just the same, Keith, as what's going on over in Rupert with the stealing of this baby Jesus. I can't imagine that people are just, oh, well, gee, that's too bad. There have got to be a lot of people that are upset because the meaning of the season, the meaning of Christmas, the why we have Christmas is represented right there in that nativity scene with that empty manger now of a stolen Jesus. Let's get it replaced. Let's find out how much it is. Let's get a reward, and let's get the bad guys, put them up on charges, and let it be a signal we're not going to put up with this garbage anymore.
You know, the one thing I really appreciate about President-elect Trump is if you step on him, he's going to step on you, only with both feet.
Yeah.
And he has evidently done this most of his life and is successful for it. I think it's about time somebody does it.
Amen.
Let's get back to the Constitution and this political correctness. I don't even want to hear that word again.
Not on this program. I'm not going to honor that kind of garbage. Thanks, Keith. I got to get a weather in here. Thank you very much. Don't forget, yesterday we had Dr. History, and he's sponsored by Minnecasia Sales at 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. Oh, the number to call Zach and the crew, 878-2091. Wonderful people. Oh, my. Yeah, the temperatures are going to whoop down the scale. And you better upgrade your windows with the Western Windows, and they can also help line up a contractor to do the installation. Wonderful folks at Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, sponsoring Dr. History on Tuesdays. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, Zeb, 3 years ago, we had a baby Jesus stolen out of our nativity scene, and so our friend loaned us a doll for that year, and we put that in. Then next year, we thought, well, really, the baby ought to not be in the manger until we thought, okay, we'll just put the cradle out there, which they did not take earlier, and that way we put the baby in at Christmas time. So we put the cradle out. Sure enough, it was stolen.
Isn't that this?
The first year, we had a lighted deer that was by the manger. That they took the deer and the baby. Then the second year, they took the cradle. So I made up another one, and we bought a baby from the youth ranch. And I had some plexiglass. So I cut a piece of plexiglass and put over the complete manger scene, which is, I don't even remember measurements, maybe 4 by 6 or something of that nature. And so we haven't had anything stolen since then. But we live in Rupert, and we've witnessed the same exact thing. Ours is not to the magnitude that the city's is, but we do like to have it put out.
You know, all I can say to you is thank you for honoring and remembering the real reason of the season with the birth of Christ. I got to ask you, of your friends and neighbors, and I'm starting to see a trend here in the Valley that really bothers me by a certain minority group of anti-Christian, anti-Christmas, biblical, any attitude like that. And they look down on people, and they kind of poo-poo the fact that the baby Jesus was stolen out of a manger. Who cares? That type of thing. Holy cow, what is our nation? What are our lives coming to that we can't remember the real reason for the Christmas season?
Well, I think this is a movement going on, and it's pretty well sponsored by the left. To take down our morals. The Communist Party years and years ago, I'm not sure, maybe back in the 40s, gave their agenda, and this is exactly what they said.
Yeah.
That by weakening us, taking away our morals, taking away our spiritual guidance, that they would overtake us.
Yeah.
And they would have done, had it not been for the election of Trump, I hope. Now, I better back up there. I just hope that he can take care of this situation, or at least maybe slow it down for a while. I saw in Trump, I think, something there through some of his speeches gave me the idea that maybe down deep he was a decent person with his tape on the bus and things of that nature. That was not good, I admit, but I think of the two candidates, I think he was the lesser of the two evils.
You know, sir, I really appreciate your verbiage, and I think rather than use the word hope, and I'm not trying to chastise you for your choice of words, but I think you will concur with me that in place of the word hope, let's use the word pray.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yep.
All right, sir.
If everyone would go ahead and get back down on their knees, do a little bit of praying, perhaps our country would be turned around, and we'd find we really don't need to control our climate, but somebody else is doing that for us.
Amen. Amen. God bless you, sir. I am way late on a weather forecast. Thank you so much. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Call again. I appreciate it. And don't forget right now the weather. Oh, Wheels is saying, Zeb, we're late. Riverview Urgent Care, 382 North Overland and Burley. Twin Falls Urgent Care, 2392 Addison Avenue East in Twin Falls. And Jerome Urgent Care, 133 West Avenue Way in Jerome. Urgent Care's working for you. Minor emergencies, major care. Don't forget they still have the flu shots available. And whether you've got a cough, a fever, a sinus infection, laceration, whatever, they can help. Like I said, minor emergencies, major care. Here's Gina with the weather.
Looks like we have a few morning rain showers, but after we get through with those, looks like partly to mostly cloudy skies for today. A little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the west right around 16 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 42, tonight low of 24. Tomorrow, still breezy, but hey, no rain showers. Partly cloudy skies, high of 41 with an overnight low of 20. Partly cloudy and 44 for Friday with an overnight low of 25. And for Saturday, partly cloudy and 54. That is your weather for Zebedee Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Don't forget, open 7 days a week serving you and your family. The Urgent Cares, Riverview Urgent Care in Burley, Twin Falls, Urgent Care Twin Falls, Jerome Urgent Care in Jerome, minor emergencies, major care. Also, don't forget this weekend, a great big quality cattle sale. It is. Quality always comes first with the great big bull and female sale going on at the Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch. Oh, my. Get up there this weekend. This is a dandy quality sale. It's going to be at 3135 Elmore Road between Parma and Fruitland. Nice drive. You'll enjoy it. Call for information. Talk to old Josh and the crew up there at 739-0725. That number again, 739-0725. They got 100 head of bulls and a lot of Angus and Hereford bulls and 50 head of females. It's going to be ripping good. November 19th, Friday, they're going to have the junior fitting and showing at 11 o'clock, followed by a lunch and a buyer's social. And then on sale day this Saturday the 20th, don't forget tri-tip lunch at noon, big sale at 1 p.m. Don't miss it. Quality comes first at the Molson, Angus, and Hereford sale between Parma and Fruitland. Going to be good. All right, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Please, out in the audience, somebody step up. Somebody call me or my wife. Call on my cell phone, 312-2976. Somebody step up and say, I'll do the chairman work for getting the money and the proceeds for a new baby Jesus for the Rupert nativity scene. Somebody step up. I know I had some calls yesterday so that we know how much money is needed. And we know who to send it to so that we can get this restored. And then also the excess going to a reward to get the bad people that did this. I urge you, if you're a business owner over in the Rupert area, or for that matter anywhere within the sound of my voice, do something for yourself, your family, and your business this year if you didn't before, and put up a nativity scene at your business. Put it up with a painting on your glass windows, whatever. Let's remember and not be embarrassed by some of our peers the real reason for the season, the birth of Jesus Christ. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Boy, I'll tell you what, all 7 locations are serving you. And with the weather taking a little dip and going to get a little bit nasty, be ready for the snow, the ice, and the rain, and whatever. They've got all the tires, all the different tire treads. They've got everything for your safe winter driving. And along with that, the best in brake service. Absolutely the best in brake service. And front-end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries. Everybody overlooks their battery to start that engine. Oh, my. You better get in and get your battery checked. And if it's not going to do the job this winter, you better get a new one. They've got the best. All 7 locations serving you. Lane and Rupert, good guys. Dave, Blue Lakes, Twin Falls. Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome. The Twist family in Paul. Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls. And Randy on Overland in Burley. The best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You know, I got time for another call, and really, I'm surprised we haven't had a lot of people call and say, hey, not only will we contribute for the new baby Jesus, but we also want to put the reward money up. Come on, folks. This is your community. And Rupert, especially known as the Christmas City, I love going over there in the wintertime. I love just parking around the square and looking at the lights. But what good is a Christmas city without the real meaning of Christmas? What good is an empty manger? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. Hey, I'll donate some money.
You know,
know when and where.
Doug, I tell you what, I knew, honestly, in my heart of hearts, I knew you would call, and we had some callers yesterday and everything, and I'm going to contribute and everything, but we need somebody to step up over in that area that says, yes, I'll be the chairperson, yes, I'll take care of the funding, give me an address, all this kind of stuff. We need somebody to step up and get this done, because Christmas is not that far away, and I think the replacement value of a baby Jesus needs to be taken care of right now, but also the rest of the money for a reward to get these bad people.
Exactly. I pray for them. I hope God has mercy on their soul, and I'd hate to be in their shoes when they meet him face to face.
Why in the world, let me ask you real quick, short answer on this because I got to run, but why in the world is there, in your opinion, a diminishment of the value of Christmas? Oh, you can't paint that on your store building. Oh, no, we don't want the birth of Jesus on the city square. What is going on, Doug?
Well, in my opinion, it's the end times when what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right.
Yeah.
It's the people that, it's evil that is, the devil's working in people and promoting it and pushing it, and for evil to succeed, good men do nothing.
Absolutely. But I tell you what, if they think, they being the left and the loonies that think I'm going to weaken on this, au contraire.
Well, I personally feel that whoever did it was some kids that were doing something stupid, and they're probably regretting it right now, but they don't need to get a trophy for doing something wrong. They need to be their hands slapped and their butts kicked.
There you go. Doug, I got to run. Thank you. I'll put that on the list. I hope somebody steps forward to chair this great, I think, necessary replacement of Jesus and reward money. Thank you.
Hey, Zeb, one more quick thing.
Fast.
Try to straighten this thing around. Parents need to start giving their kids the vitamin N.
And that is the vitamin No. There you go.
All right.
Thanks, Doug. All right. We got to take a break right now. A lot of people are happy with that. We're going to listen to CBS News and be back in just a few minutes. Don't go away. Oh, here we go. Hour number 2. Zeb at the Ranch. And, of course, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations getting you ready for wintertime driving. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this free land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
You know, it is really kind of a comforting thought when you get on that route service pickup weekly and the truck pulls up in front of your yard, whoop, whoop, boom, and they lift that great big deal of garbage up and dump it and everything. It's gone. It's out of there. No more garbage for another week. Oh, my goodness, I love that. They are so reliable. Locally owned and operated Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call them today at 734-6969, Western Waste Services. You know, like every morning on this program at 8:06, we start things off with the weather forecast from our dear friends Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for that blue door. All your carpet, flooring, kitchen, construction, home decor items, whatever you need to make your house a home, Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Wonderful, wonderful people. And before we go to our guest, I also want to remind you that big cattle sale going on this weekend up between Parma and Fruitland at the Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch. This is a quality sale. Quality always comes first. They've got the Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch, and they're going to be located at 3135 Elmore Road between Parma and Fruitland. Number to call for sale information, 739-0725. Don't forget Friday, they're going to have the junior fitting and showing at 11 a.m., followed by a lunch and a buyer's social. Saturday, November 20th, they're going to have that ripping good tri-tip lunch at noon with the sale at 1 p.m. Don't miss it. great sale. Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch sale. Quality comes first. Right now, this is quality. What a great way to segue into this gentleman from Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm going to be very polite because, quite frankly, I'm indebted to him up to the neck. His Indianapolis Colts absolutely tore apart and dismembered my Green Bay Packers. So did the Tennessee Titans. And good morning, Dave Bego. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm fine. How are you this morning?
You have a spring in your voice. You sound happy that I have conceded to you that my team is not as good as yours.
Well, I have to admit to you that after we talked last week, I went out and bought a couple of wine coolers so I could store all the wine in it that you owe me.
Thanks, David. Make me feel good. I know something that's going on in this country right now I really want you to talk about. When Obama was elected in 2008, I did not take a lead pipe and go break windows. I did not burn my neighbors' businesses. I did not smash the windshields in cars and destroy squad cars. I vowed that I would do everything I could legally to fight against Obama, but the left doesn't play that way, David. They didn't get their way, and so they're going to burn, loot, and destroy. This is despicable.
Well, it is, Zeb, and that's who they are. And I think if you remember, I've talked about this before in my blogs and on the air with you, is that the left, the union bosses and Soros, they don't understand how to really operate and be successful in a free market economy without using misinformation and lies and intimidation and all that kind of stuff. And it's who they are. And I think the American people are starting to wake up. I sure hope so, because if not, we're headed down a dreadful path. But now with Trump winning and having control of the House and Senate, and we've got 33 Republican governors and control in about 33 states, maybe we'll start to turn this thing around, and these people on the left have to learn that they have to operate within the laws of our land if they're going to be successful. Successful.
You better have a drink of water. You sound like maybe what happened to me in church last Sunday. Holy smokes, you're choking. Are you okay?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
Dave, what really bothers me is you've got the likes of Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Michael Moore, Tom Stiers, George Soros. The list goes on and on. And these people are nothing more than generators of absolute anarchism, and they're standing behind these left-wing nuts and giving them all the urges, if you will, to go out and cause more destruction. These people, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to use the word, are traitors to the United States.
Well, they are, Zeb, and again, the SEIU's part of that. I had a gal here in Indianapolis who reads my blogs and my book, and that sent me a thing that, it showed a diagram of how all these people interlinked, the people you just talked about, plus the SEIU, because they're a big part of it, the union I fought. And the fact is, again, and it's real simple, this is not rocket science. People understand these people simply don't know how to function, or don't want to function, or don't want to put the energy out to function in our society, where you go out and you work hard and you do the right things and you persevere and you obey our laws and stuff like that. And these people don't want to do that, so they want to fundamentally change our country to socialism, communism, so they can control us.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question. Go ahead with your comment, please, caller. You're on the air.
Well, yesterday Ed Rollins was talking about Soros and paying these protesters to do what they do, and he says, there, could be some legal action that could be taken. I don't know how, but with a different administration, this stuff would come to an end. And, these people have, these protesters, they have absolutely nothing to do. They are living off of our dime, whether or not it's student aid or whatever. And, the people that pay for their way are the ones who voted for Trump. Okay, one more quick point. There's been talk about Trump maybe, scaling back his promises. But yesterday when Ted Cruz was in town, at the Trump Tower. I says, well, this shows that Trump holds no grudges and he cares about America, and then Cruz is as hard line as they get. It's encouraging. I'll hang up.
Go ahead, Dave. Respond to the caller's statements, would you please?
Well, I think he's right. I've met Trump, and Trump, when you get to know him and behind the scenes that he is professional, he wants to do the right things. He understands and believes we're a nation of laws, and that we need to change these things. And I think he'll go forward with a lot of things he'll do. He promised he'll do. Now, I think that some of them he's going to have to amend his approach a little bit, and he's already doing that, like on illegal immigrants. You know, he said first early on that he was going to deport everybody. Now in the last week, he's come out and says, well, what we'll do is the ones that have criminal records.
Absolutely.
We'll investigate them and we'll deport them. And the other people will work on something for them down the road. And Zeb, I don't know if you remember, but in my blog about the immigration laws in this country, I talked about that, and that's exactly what I said we should do.
Absolutely.
We ought to do background checks on all of them, and the ones who are criminals and doing bad things in this country, they need to be deported. The rest of them, we need to sit back and find a way to give them a path. And I think Trump will stand firm on his stuff. I just think he'll find a better way to each one of his paths, okay?
Absolutely agree with you, and I do remember everything that was said and written on my program. I totally agree. We have another caller with a question. Go ahead quickly. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. About these sanctuary cities, these governors are going to defy Trump. Why don't we just cut off the welfare for these people?
Absolutely.
That are here? Open up soup kitchens, give them a flop house to live in, and maybe they'll realize what's going on. That the rest of us are sick and tired of this and take all their benefits away.
I agree. Tony, I'm going to have Dave respond to that in just a moment. Thank you for your call. Dave, what the gentleman just said, I totally agree with. Sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities for what? Bad people that are here illegally and criminals that use it as a hole-in-the-wall gang to hide out from any prosecution. What in the world's the matter with these mayors like Rahm Emanuel and Bill de Blasio and so many more saying they're going to defy federal law? This is insane.
Because it comes back, and people just have to listen to me and understand. This is, again, it's not rocket science. It's not complicated. This is all about votes. It's all about getting people that you can, and, we haven't got into illegal voting and voter fraud, but using these people to get them reelected. And that's what this stuff is all about. This has nothing to do about what's right for America or the citizens of this country. This is about their own pocketbook and their own jobs and future. And, I believe that your caller is exactly right. What the federal government needs to do is take away the money that goes to these cities, and these cities are going to have to figure out how to do it themselves, which they can't do, and that will cure the problem.
Now, I said something first hour, and I said it a couple days ago, and I stand behind my statement. It may be too harsh for some people. Oh, woe is me. But I said that in these cities where the protesters are going out and breaking glass in private business, setting fires, destroying property, destroying dreams of Americans that are God-fearing taxpayers trying to make a living, that I said unleash the billy clubs and batter up. It's time to get tough with these protesters.
Well, it is. I mean, if they're doing things, the bottom line, Zeb, and this is the pure and simple of it all, if they're breaking the law, they ought to be arrested, and they ought to be prosecuted, period. And, no city or state or whatever should put up with this stuff. And I have to tell you, I'm proud of Indianapolis because, we had some protesters on Saturday. But the police were out there, not just on walking, but and in their cars, but they had police out there on horseback in Indianapolis, walking around these protesters and watching them. And the whole thing stayed silent. I think there was a couple people who threw a few rocks at the police, and I believe they arrested those, and that thing went away. And this is the way that we've got to handle these things. These people need to know that we're a nation of laws. They need to obey our laws.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute. Let's just call it the way it is. According to the list that I have in front of me here of all the sanctuary cities in the United States, yours, Indianapolis, Indiana, is not on there. You're a city that sees straight, shoots straight, understands the right and the wrong of the issue. But these Democratic mayors, like Rahm Emanuel and, of course, Bill de Blasio and many others, are saying we're going to just not pay attention to the law. We're going to let illegal aliens live here and illegal alien criminals reside here. They're welcome here. And that's just absolute insanity, increasing the crime rate, the murder rate, and everything else. What's going on besides total anarchy?
It is anarchy, and it's about control and getting the votes that they stay in power and they eventually take over this country. And this election was a real blow to all of them. And you got to understand, behind the scenes, the union bosses and the people like Soros and Acorn and all of his things, they're all behind this kind of stuff. Brainwashing these people. We'll take control. We'll get everybody about the same, make the same money, work about as hard, and we'll just control this country from now on because, nobody will be jealous of each other. And that's their philosophy. They don't understand going out and working hard and achieving and, the things that made this country great. And it's not who they are. And the federal government and Trump needs to do this, again, like Chicago and New York and California. If you have sanctuary cities, then you're not getting federal subsidies anymore.
Absolutely. I want to go back and I want to talk a little bit about Trump, the businessman. America needs right now good, sound business principles. Like you're an entrepreneur. I'm much, much smaller in scale than you, but I think I understand good business principles. And those business principles need to be applied to us, the United States, right now. And I think they need to repeal or somehow rebuild Obamacare. They need sound trade policies that are going to benefit us, the United States, first and most. We need a fair and simple tax code. We need a sound, sensible energy program. And that is where Donald Trump, as a businessman, I think is going to take pride in being the president.
Well, I think so, too. And that's why I want to see somebody as a business person and in the White House. And we need it more and more across the country in all different, governorships and everything, because we need people to understand that our founders found this country on a free market system, on a capitalistic system, to give people the opportunity to go out and achieve. And, and Trump is just right. The cesspool swamp we have in Washington needs to be drained, but it also needs to be drained in some cities and states across this country.
Dave, I want to go back to the protesters. It was found out, they took surveys of those that were arrested, and they found out background checks. Over 70% of these criminal, low-life protesters didn't even register, nor did they vote in the election. I mean, this is it's so filled with lunacy to go out and burn, loot, pillage, and plunder, and you didn't even vote? What kind of an idiot are you?
Well, you got to understand something, and the SEIU did the same thing to us, and they went out and they paid these people, just like Soros did. And I think the SEIU paid some of these protesters, or was involved in paying these protesters too, because they're a Soros partner, and you got to understand something, and the SEIU did the same thing against us. They're very good about going out and picking out people who aren't involved, who are naive, who's easily brainwashed. Doesn't mean they're not smart people or that. It's just they just don't get involved. They don't pay attention to what's going on. They just kind of lay back in the shadows, and a lot of these are coming out of shelters and other places, and they've got a checklist. They know what to look for in people, and they go out to these people and they brainwash them, give them lies and everything. These people, because they don't stay up to date on what's going on in this country and what's really true, these people go, oh, well, that sounds good. Sure, I'll help you, and I'll take your cash, and they go out.
Yeah. I want to ask you about Steve Bannon. I read an article this morning that was written by Jonathan Bernstein, a Bloomberg View columnist, and I was outraged. He really came after Steve Bannon because Trump has chosen Steve Bannon as the chief strategist and senior counselor for his administration. And then a paragraph lower, this malcontent Jonathan Bernstein said, quote, Bannon is a longtime professional bigot. Holy cow, Dave. They haven't even been in office, and now we've got the left calling people bigots and all kinds of names.
Zeb, that's what they do. I mean, it's just, to me, this is so plain as day because I've gone through all this stuff, and quite honestly, I was naive to it before the SEIU attacked me. But they came out against me, when they first started attacking, said how bad a person I am, how bad a businessman I am, and I don't know anything, and that I don't care for people or anything like this. It's just what they do. They know there's a certain percent of the population that are going to listen to this bull. And the American people need to wake up and understand what's going on the left.
One last thought, Dave. I've only got about 2 minutes left in this segment, but there are those, it came out yesterday, the crybabies on the left, and they are, that have said, we've got to overturn this election. Why? Hillary won the popular vote. We've got to diminish and ban the Electoral College. We can't have this. We've got to step over it. She should be president. They won't quit.
Yeah, and a couple of months ago, they were talking about how great the Electoral College is.
Yeah.
It gives them the pathway to the White House.
Yeah.
That shows you how hypocritical these people are, Zeb. It's not do as I say. It's not do as I do. It's do as I say. And people need to look at these people and watch what they do, because that tells you the whole story.
On a 1 to 10 scale, we got time for one quick question. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air. Real fast.
Yes, I have a solution to this riot mess that's going on. I think we need to have the Border Patrol people pulled up there with their big buses and load those people up and give them a choice of either going to Syria, Iraq, or Mexico, whichever.
I like that. And on a one-way ticket. Thank you very much, sir.
Right.
I appreciate it. Dave, respond. I think it's a great idea. I'll buy the gas for the bus.
I think it's funny. Well, I'm trying to remember, and I wrote this in my blog. I think it was Oklahoma several years ago. They actually passed a law or put into effect that anybody that had immigrated into Oklahoma had to illegally had to go sign up at a certain spot, and they would have background checks done on them. If they were criminals or anything, they'd be deported out of the state automatically in that. And what happened is they had mass exodus out of Oklahoma of illegal aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And if we did that same thing in this country, we wouldn't even have to pay for the gas.
Amen. Oh, my. Who do you play this week, Dave?
We play the Titans this week here at Indianapolis, so we have to beat them because even though my son is a Colt fan, oldest son, he lives down in Nashville, so he'll be rooting against us.
Well, we play the Redskins, and to be quite honest with you, our record right now is 4-5, and looming around the next street corner is a record that says 4-6. It's not looking well. Dave Beagle.
I'm not sure who. The problem with the Colts is you don't know who's going to show up, and I'm hoping our basketball team comes on. Our Pacers are starting to look up a little bit. They play the Cavaliers tonight, so that should be interesting.
Oh, good luck to the Pacers after the mess that has been started in the press with LeBron James, etc., going after some of the coaching staffs at other teams. Go Pacers. I'm on your side. Dave Beagle, Indianapolis, Indiana. God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. You guys have a great week.
All right, sir. Thank you. Always enjoy that segment. Very enlightening and informative with Dave Beagle out of Indiana. Thank you very much. Well, right now, I also want to tell you, before we go to our next segment, about some really nice people. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, with the manager, Joel Heward, his family, his staff, always serving you and your family in a real time of crisis and a time of need, and that's when there's the passing of a loved one. And they can travel to the rural towns and churches and help you with all the arrangements. Always remember this: they uphold the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity in serving you and your family. Write the number down, 436-5636. I'll say it again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, serving you. Really good people. You know, while we've got a minute before we go to our next guest, Tom Pyle with the Institute for Energy Research, I want to remind you, too, about Cameron and Siemens Insurance, bit my tongue, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, yes, call for an appointment today, 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, making sure your family, your home, as far as the way things are set up for your health insurance, retirement planning, etc., your business, all of that's protected. Call them, make an appointment today, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance. And a lot of people are looking to the mountains to see if the angel dandruff has accumulated up there, the snow, because they want to hit the hills with their snow machines that they've purchased from Let's Ride. Oh my! Where the fun is sold. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They've got all kinds of new snow machines over there, snowmobiles galore over at Let's Ride, and they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 9 to 5. They've got a fantastic accessory department. Anything you need, right there. Service department, absolutely the best. They're waiting to serve you right now. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Really good people. Okay, in just a moment, nothing. We're going to go ahead and get him on the air. Good guy, and he's very knowledgeable about what's happening with energy, or the lack of, and that's Tom Pyle with the Institute of Energy Research, and he wrote a very, very interesting column on behalf of the newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, about federal fuel economy standards, and I'm really looking forward to having him come on and explain that. Good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Good to be back with you. It's been a while.
It has been, and I'm sorry I just didn't give you a call sooner, but you wrote an outstanding article. I was very impressed with this. Tell us a little bit more about what your thoughts are on fuel standards, what your thoughts are about what the government has imposed on us. Go ahead and give us a kind of a brief overlay of this article.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, the bottom line is that standards is a Washington word for mandates. And what we've had over the past several years, including back to the Bush administration, is a compulsion that the auto industry be increasing their fuel efficiency standards, meaning getting more miles per gallon in their vehicles. Well, that in and of itself is a fine thing, but when you force that onto the automakers, you basically force them to make cars that may not necessarily fit the needs of a lot of people in this country, including people out in rural America.
Yeah.
And so what we argue is that it's a great choice for some people, but other people need bigger cars, large families. Other people need vehicles for work. Their livelihoods depend on it. And what the government is doing is forcing choices on us and increasing the costs of those vehicles on us as a result. And so my argument is let the automakers make the cars that people want to buy, and let that be one factor, but not the only factor in the types of choices we have as consumers.
Yeah, but Tom, that's what America's all about, is free choice. That's what America is all about, where enterprising business people can sell a product that people either A, will like or not like. I mean, what happened to this? Why is the government trying to say and dictate to us, thou shalt buy a tin can and write in it, that's all you're going to get? I mean, that's not right.
It's not right, and it's been wrong for over a generation now. Washington has been sticking their nose in our energy business. They've been forcing us off of coal. They've been forcing us to buy or to subsidize their preferred energy choices. They're forcing us to pay more for the cars that we want to buy. And hopefully, with that little thing that happened last Tuesday, we can begin to reset all of this and bring that choice back to the people who make energy and make cars and things, and empower us in the process instead of empowering Washington to tell us what they think the way the world should be.
You know, Tom, it would delight me, and I mean this when I say this, it would delight me to pick up the newspaper or get some of my many, many emails every morning before this program and find out that environmentalists and members of the EPA were jumping en masse out of basement windows.
Well, we've heard that the safe space at the EPA is overcrowded right now. We've got a really great opportunity here in President-elect Trump to reset environmental and energy policy, to bring it back to us, to get real about these issues. You know, the Democrats are bought and paid for by the radical environmentalists, and they've been calling the shots for way too long. It's time for us to take our government back.
You know, Tom, one of the things that you had in your article, and I thought you really worked that in well, is the idiocy of climate change and how even this administration, the inept and unable Obama administration, even made the claim that by these higher fuel standards, it isn't going to do anything to reduce global temperatures.
That's right. This won't, and neither will their attempts to take coal out of the fuel mix. Neither will their attempts to impose a carbon tax on us. The sum total of all these rules and regulations and mandates and subsidies and all the stuff that they've been doing over the years, each and every one of them cannot and will not do what they say they're trying to do, which is reduce global average temperatures. There's too big of a world out there, and we're just one small piece of it. So this isn't about the environment. It's about power and money in Washington, and that's always what it's been. But they can't sell that, and so they sell it under the cloak that they're trying to save us from ourselves.
I agree. We have a caller with a question for you, Tom. Hang in there. Caller, go ahead, please.
Well, one of the things that the environmentalists were so proud of is in a Scandinavian country, the Scandinavians were incinerating their garbage. And the way I understood it, they incinerated virtually everything that could be. So, but because of clean coal technology or clean, like what they used for clean coal technology, they were able to do it in a very environmentally friendly way. But over here in America, where we don't tell the truth, clean coal is demonized. But over there, you can incinerate the trash, and we love you. I'll hang up.
Go ahead, Tom. Respond to the caller, please.
Well, this is the point. I mean, innovation, technology, human ingenuity, these are the drivers of environmental progress, not some, concocted regulation in a boardroom at the EPA. None of these guys ever factor the unintended consequences of these policies. People are hurting out there. The election didn't change that fact, but hopefully, if President-elect Trump resets these policies, gets us back to reality, we can get the government out of this business and let people drive the efficiencies and improvements that we all value. We're all outdoors people, right? I mean, I have 3 children. Do you think I want them to inherit a dirty planet? Hell no. But what these guys have done is tried to scare everyone into, buying off on this globalist agenda. It's got to stop now. We've got to turn this thing around.
Tom, let's look at the future right now. I don't want to get too far away from your article, but I want to pick your brain a little bit as to your thoughts. It's great that we have a Republican-controlled House and Senate. It's wonderful that we have different leadership that is going to lean conservative and also for American values. But these insidious people on the left, these dangerous people on the left, you've got to know that they are behind closed doors right now or under a rock someplace, and they are planning and plotting to overthrow our thoughts and aspirations and make it even worse for us regarding energy. What are your thoughts? What do you think they're going to do, and what do you think we need to watch out for?
That's a great point. The important thing here is that we can't rest. This is one small step in taking our country back. These guys are huddling literally in meetings in town trying to do what you just described, and they're going to come at it with every barrel loaded. What we have to do is continue to fight, continue to encourage our government to undo these policies and get us back on the right track. It only starts now. It doesn't end now. The hard work is actually going to begin. Believe it or not.
When you say that, Tom, I mean, what can common Joe citizen like myself and others, what can we do, what should we be doing? Because it seems, and I don't mean to sound negative on this, but it's the way it is, a lot of times when we contact our senators and congressmen, we get a really nice form letter. Thank you very much. I'll see you next election season. We need answers, and we need somehow to reach out and grab the neckties of these people, pull on the short end and say, listen, dude, you've got an opportunity and don't waste it.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, you do have to do that stuff. You can't ignore the effect, the cumulative effect of many, many voices weighing in. But you can do things like, not to shamelessly plug here, but sign up to our EnergyTownHall.org. Go to Energy Town Hall and sign up on our newsletter so you guys are knowing what's going on in real time here, so that you can weigh in and with me and amplify the voice and the efforts that we're trying to achieve to make these guys do the right thing on these issues. That's a start. Working your individual congressmen at the federal level, but also at the state level, because this is the bench. These guys all have aspirations, to come to Washington. Don't ask me why, but we've got to stay focused. We've got to stay in the fight, and we've got to encourage folks who are doing the right thing to push harder, and we've got to make people who are doing the wrong thing know that they're being watched and being held accountable.
What about this idea, Tom, about also taking the time and the effort to notify Detroit, notify Chrysler, notify GMC and Chevy, notify Ford? Hey, wait a minute, boys. We don't want these little cans of sardines that you don't get in, but you put them on. We want vehicles that our families are safe in. What about letting them know we're unhappy with the absolute tin can attitude that they're turning out?
That's a great suggestion, and I strongly encourage it as well. Let people know that we have needs out here. These are the kind of cars we want, and we don't want to pay an extra $6,000 or $5,000 for, what is in our lives not a luxury but a necessity. They're responsive to their consumers as well. Unfortunately, Washington has had too much influence on the decisions that these guys make, but hopefully we're in a situation where that combined pressure to both our elected officials and what you just described, the folks that make these vehicles, will pay attention.
What are your thoughts on a 1 to 10 scale, not so good being a 1, number 10, very optimistic? What are your thoughts about what possibly will generate out of this administration for the good of transportation and energy in this country with Donald Trump?
I'm a bullish 8, but I'm also a realist, and I do understand that the culture in Washington is strong for status quo. I'm hoping that you've got a guy in President-elect Trump who is not a politician, who never even ran and was elected dog catcher. You've got a guy who's made a lot of promises out there to us and a potential for a real change agent. And we are going to put our power of accountability to play as well. We're not going to rest here. It's not over, as I said. It's just begun.
Boy, Tom, I enjoyed visiting with you. You got to promise to come back soon and talk some more on this. God bless you. We'll know right after the first less than maybe 2 months, 2.5 months of his being in office, where Trump's headed and how we're going to get there. I'll make sure I call you and have you back. Tom Pyle with the Institute of Energy Research, thank you so much.
You betcha.
All right, sir. Thank you. I'll be in touch and have him back. I really like his straightforward attitude on the program. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get a weather forecast. And I want some people, honestly, I said this first hour and I am shocked. During the break, I mentioned to Deanne, wow, I didn't get any calls from the folks over in Rupert regarding the theft of baby Jesus. Why? Why? Are you possibly afraid that you don't want your neighbors to hear you on the radio or whatever? You know, that's so repulsive to me, to think that they would steal out of a nativity scene the baby Jesus, the real and only meaning of Christmas. And I will, like I said last hour, somebody called and said, will you really? Yes, I will. I'm going to contribute to that fund. I know others that will contribute to that fund to replace the baby Jesus. We need somebody to step up that lives there in that area to be a chairperson and get the money lined out, replace the baby Jesus, and then I said use the rest of the money for a reward to catch the bad guys. Come on, Rupert. Let's get this done. Time for the weather. And the weather is sponsored by our dear friends at Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company. CPAs, Curtis Pope, Todd Phillips, Rob Oaks, Mitch Goodwin, and Lyden Crane. These are really sharp people helping you with your tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning. The list goes on and on. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't hang up. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. Get a hold of them today. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Looks like we have a few morning rain showers, but after we get through with those, looks like partly to mostly cloudy skies for today. A little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the west right around 16 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 42, tonight low of 24. Tomorrow, still breezy, but hey, no rain showers. Partly cloudy skies, high of 41 with an overnight low of 20. Partly cloudy and 44 for Friday with an overnight low of 25. And for Saturday, partly cloudy and 54. That is your weather for Zebit the Rain.
Thank you, Gina. Brought to you by the folks that can help you and will help you. Pope Phillips, Oaks, Goodwin, and Company CPAs. Offices at 1710 Overland in Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Hey, I called you earlier, and I made several phone calls around Rupert, and I did have a nice visit with the fire chief, and he said, I encouraged him to call you, but he must have got busy. They're on top of things. The thing that is what people don't realize is that is a vintage nativity set, so replacing that exact baby is going to be hard, but he's working on it, and they're on top of it. He did not have exact value at this time, but hopefully he will call in and be able to visit with you, and we can continue.
Okay, but let me just say this, caller. Let me just say this. Let me interrupt you for a minute. Okay, that's fine. But, you know, the immediacy of the issue is very important because people want to contribute. People want to help. And it's not something you put on the back burner and say, well, maybe I can call him tomorrow, or maybe we can get that figure later. Hey, let me tell you something. When people want to help and contribute, you don't put them off and let them wait.
And I'm with you, Zeb, and that's why I called him, and I was hoping that he would in turn call you to relay all this firsthand. And I'll call him again and encourage him to call back in. But that's what I found out, so I just wanted to call and report.
No, and God bless you. God bless you for your call and your time, because you're a person. I know who this is. I figured out who the voice was. And I absolutely thank you for this. But, here's the problem I see. There's always everyday happenings that cloud over something that is illegal and illicit that needs to be cured. And right now, with the real meaning of Christmas being the birth of Jesus Christ, we can't talk over each other. Hang on just a second. We can't let this issue die. If people want to contribute their hard-earned money to replace that baby Jesus, you don't put it off till next week, or I'll try to get the price. I'll try to call in a couple of days. You do it with immediacy so that people appreciate that they are appreciated with their donations.
I'm with you, Zeb. I think it's something that is urgent and needs taken right away and addressed right away. Because, like you said, the people are willing to step up and see that something happens, and we need to make it happen.
Amen. God bless you and your family. And I'm just going to come right out and say Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas.
You too, Zeb. Merry Christmas. And I'll keep ruffling some feathers, seeing if I can't get things to happen.
Yeah, you can get your membership card. It's free to the Ruffling Feathers Club. I am the president.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, God bless. Thank you very much. Yeah, when people want to help, and I had a caller yesterday, a very nice man. I had another caller today. They'll contribute. I know others that said they contribute. You don't put it on the back burner and say, well, I'll try to get to it. You do it immediately, because this is something that's important to people. Rupert is known as the Christmas City. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Bob. Marshfield Wagon and Stagecoach Company will donate to this fund as soon as we find out where to do it.
Well, see, there again, the generosity, and God bless you. I know who this is, and I thank you so much for saying that. Ray, I just absolutely can't understand why people are not incensed over the ruination of the real meaning of Christmas. When there's a theft of something like this, or a destruction, or a threat of not having the real meaning of Christmas, we all should be outraged. And I'm going to put your name on the list, and I'll be in touch with you, okay?
Okay, well, this whole bunch here is mad about it.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Zeb.
God bless you. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, that's Roger Davis with the City of Rupert. I was asked to call in and give you a little update on the baby Jesus.
God bless you. I said God bless you for calling, sir. Go ahead. Is he there?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm waiting for you. Go ahead, sir, please.
Hi, Zeb. This is Roger Davis with the City of Rupert. How are you this morning?
I am great, sir. Go ahead, please.
Well, so I was just asked by some individuals to phone in and maybe give a little update on the baby Jesus situation here in the City of Rupert.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
You know, the Facebook has just gone wild with it, and you know, we feel sick about what's happened with it, and we're just asking the individual or individuals that are responsible just to return it. But we also realize, you know, those things are probably between 30 and 40 years old, and we're not going to be able to find a replacement that matches, unfortunately. There is a lady that's out on the Ezekiel Highway that I actually went out to her house yesterday, that she fixed a lot of them about 8 years ago, and I was wanting some information from her to see if I couldn't find, you know, where they were made, but she wasn't home. You know, it's inevitable. I think we're just going to have to replace it, but it's not. Unfortunately, it's not going to match it. It isn't going to look the same. We're just going to have to find somebody that comes close for right now.
Okay.
You know, I've had 3 individuals walk into my office there at City Hall and offer a money, you know, some sort of a monetary value to replace him. And I think probably by Thanksgiving, I think we probably need to give law enforcement just a few more days to see if their investigation reveals anything. But if we have no results by a week from now, I think we're just going to have to move forth and order something that just matches the best that we can.
Okay, now let me interrupt you right there and say, and I want to say thank you very much for your being forthright and honest to come on the program this morning and explain this. I personally, I will with my company send a check, and I've got a list of other people that will send a check. Your city of Rupert is known nationwide as the Christmas city, and the real meaning of Christmas is, of course, the birth of the Christ child. All of these people I've mentioned, including myself, will do anything we can with the monetary donations to replace the Christ child in that nativity scene. But also, if there's an overage, I would like to see the money go on a reward to catch these people that are doing these dastardly deeds.
That is very nice of you. That is very noble, and that is something that, you know, we look at this, and you're exactly right. What we have here is we hold very dear, and we like the warm feeling. We like the openness, the family atmosphere, and unfortunately, you know, these things are what's going to make us, you know, have all the figurines behind plexiglass or something of the sort. You know, we're going to lose a little bit of that warmth around the holidays. But, you know, we obviously we are not able to let this happen anymore as well. And, you know, we just ask. The other thing is if there is somebody, we're also asking if there is somebody out there that has a good photo of the old baby Jesus, we would certainly invite that to where we could match up something the best that we could when we go to shop around. Everything that we have is at night, and it's just not good enough to where I can say that, you know, we have a good match. So if there's somebody out there that has a good photo, I would certainly invite that as well.
Okay, let me ask you one final question. I'm almost out of time in this segment. Number one, I'm going to ask you the favor of calling me back tomorrow morning on this program as close to 9:12 as you can and give us an update. The reason is these folks that have contacted me would like to donate money, and we need to know an update as to possibly a place, a location, a name, an office where they could send it. So please update me tomorrow morning at 9:12, right after the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce report. We'll put that information out to the public, but I'm looking to you to call me tomorrow morning and give us an update.
I can certainly do that, Zeb.
God bless you for your call, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, so Deanne, would you make a note over there? Excuse me. I'll be sure and hold that time slot tomorrow morning at 9:12, right after the Chamber of Commerce report, so we can get an update on what's going on with this nativity scene in Rupert. You know, a lot of you folks might say, well, what difference is it to you, Zeb? You don't live here. It's not that at all. It has nothing to do with whether I live in Murtaugh, whether I live in Timbuktu. It's the fact that the baby Jesus and a nativity scene were desecrated and Jesus was removed. I will do anything I can to see that it's restored. The real meaning of Christmas. Don't forget our friends, and they are at Streamline Precision. I tell you what, this man, Tim Vaughn, and they work for you. They get the job done, and they get the job done right. They have all the pre-engineered steel buildings, Nucor and Prime and Sukup, and they, believe me, can put them up on your farm, dairy, ranch, and you're going to be so happy. Now is the time to call and schedule, so you're ready to rock and roll next spring. All you have to do is call Tim at 431-7314 and say, hey, I'd like to get together with you and discuss building this or doing that, whatever. He'll be there. He'll tell you all the information you need to know. Streamline Precision. And the number 431-7314, Tim Vaughn. You call that number today. Well, we're waiting patiently for the door to be knocked, and standing on the other side of that door will be the Incredible Hulk. And that's, of course, Idaho Fish and Game. Kelton Hatch going to be up here this next hour. And I called him earlier this morning, Deanne, woke him up, and he said he'd be here. But that's coming up next hour, your calls, comments, and questions for Kelton Hatch. He does a great job representing the Fish and Game, and we're looking forward to that. And let's see. Oh, I got to get this in real quick. If I have time. Thanksgiving dinners. I'm going to give a brief synopsis of this. There will be a Thanksgiving dinner presented by the churches in the Mini-Cassia area. It's going to be at the Senior Junction on Thanksgiving Day. Don't forget that. And then also there's going to be a community Thanksgiving dinner, 15th annual, at the Rupert Elks. And thank you very much to the Alaska's Best and the Rupert Elks Lodge. These are just a couple of the great folks and people that are connected with giving you and providing you a very happy Thanksgiving. We're going to take a break, go to the news. I'll be back in about 6 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back. Zeb at the ranch, and kind of rude of my guest to all of a sudden pick up the telephone and start dialing a call when he knows he's on the air. And don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Call 734-6969. Ladies and gentlemen, instead of standing on tall buildings, catching airplanes, he's decided to take the day off from serving the public, and here's the Fish and Game representative, Kelton Hatch.
Howdy. I wasn't making a phone call.
Would you tip your microphone up a little higher?
No.
Your chin does not speak. There you go. Okay.
You need to get taller stand.
Well, maybe you need to shrink a little bit there, Hulk.
So, but no, I was getting on to our Fish and Game Facebook page.
I see.
So that I could give you the information on these different stories, because I posted them there and I didn't print out the story, so I said I'll just read it off the Facebook.
You know, and compliments to you. How many years have you been on the program with me?
305.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Or about 13.
Yeah, but I've got to compliment you. After such a brief time, you are finally changing your ways and double spacing and capitalizing the segment titles.
Deanne gave me a call and says, well, his eyesight's getting worse. You know
what? I ain't going to lie about that either. Oh, my. That hymnal in church, it just keeps getting farther and farther away. How are you?
Good. You know, fine as frog's hair. Things are good right now.
Okay, good. You know? Okay, hunting. What's going on?
You know, there's a bunch of upland game birds. There's deer down here in the South Hills that's going on.
By the way, is the season still going on now?
Yeah, that's why they're hunting them.
No. I'm not trying to be facetious, but is it back now to bucks only in this area?
Well, what's going on right now is there's some of these controlled trophy hunts. I mean, there's this late season buck hunt down here, some of the late season hunts. There's still a lot of whitetail hunts that are going on. And while we're talking about that, you know, we've still got elk tags that are available for some areas, you know, over in eastern Idaho. But tags, the second tags and the non-resident tags are just about gone. We're under 1,000 whitetail tags. And if you had purchased a second one of those, you could have went up north. Well, you could have bought a first one and gone up north and hunted a whitetail, because you've got seasons to go till the end of December. I mean, for upland game birds, I mean, you got bobwhite quail, chuckers, Hun gray partridge or Hungarian partridge that all go till January 31st. Pheasants go till December 31st.
I saw the biggest rooster standing on the side of the road just 3 miles east of here the other day, and it was almost like, you can't get me, kind of an attitude. That was a big rooster pheasant.
Yeah, bet. And and we're actually having a fair year on those.
Really?
You know, and so you got ruffed grouse that are going till end of January. You've got turkeys that are December 31st. You can go shoot you a Christmas and a Thanksgiving turkey, Zeb.
Have you ever shot a turkey?
I have. I shot one this spring.
Really? Where?
I was in Lewiston when I took that bird. I had a meeting up there, and so
do they have to be flying, or can you shoot them on the ground?
Typically, it's you call them in.
Call them in.
For the sporting way to do it, I mean, yeah, you can shoot them flying. You can shoot them however you want to.
Okay.
You can get a.
They're a kind of a slow-moving bird.
They're pretty smart.
Yeah,
and they're not really as slow as you'd think they are.
I meant in the air.
Well, yeah. The fun part for me is, I mean, it's you call them in.
Yeah.
Go up during breeding season.
How close can you get to them?
I took mine this year at about 15 yards.
15 yards. Mm-hmm. Wow, 45 feet.
Yeah, he got in pretty.
And you missed him.
No.
Oh.
He's been at. We got him. And so.
What do you do? I'm getting off subject here a little bit, but you know me.
Really?
Yeah.
No, okay.
But when you hunt turkeys, you're a big guy. And it's hard to camouflage you unless you got unless you got a Sherman tank to hide behind or something. No, I mean, what do you do to call a turkey India? I mean, surely he's going to see the bulk sitting there.
No, just have camo on, get a good dark background. It's just like calling anything else. You go out and call coyotes and things like that.
Here, turkey. I mean, what do you do?
Go. But I've got
Ladies
a little scratch box.
I want you to keep in mind that noise you just heard was not me. Have you had a gas problem for a long time?
No, it's just you try to cluck like a hen turkey.
I see.
And sound good looking, so the toms will come.
Well, 50%'s not bad.
And so no, you cluck, and usually I use a mouth. Diaphragm to call them,
and they'll come that close to you.
Oh yeah, it's just mostly movement. As long as you're camouflaged.
Getting to a hunting site, okay, to camouflage yourself and sit there. I mean, you can't move around.
No.
How do you know you're in a hunting area to where when you go?
I walk around and I have a shock gobble call. Or you do a crow call or something like that. And what I try to do is locate birds.
Yeah.
So you can either gobble like a turkey.
You know all about gobbling.
I do, because I've talked to you. And so I try to get the turkeys to gobble.
Counterpoint.
I try to get the turkeys to gobble. Then I move within range where there's no obstacles for them to have to cross.
You don't stand up straight and walk away, do you?
Well, I try to get as close as I can to them and then get down in cover and start calling.
Oh. This is where it gets serious.
Yeah, and then half the time they run the other direction, the other half the time they come in.
You are a turkey hunter, I can tell.
Well, it's something that I do when I'm
bored.
Well, yeah. I mean, turkey, there's some dyed-in-the-wool. I mean, people love it. It's fun. If I have the opportunity, I'm not going to pass it up. But, I've got a buddy that's up north right now, and he'll come back with 4 or 5 turkeys.
What's the limit?
7 up north.
In one day?
No, but over the course, this time of year you can shoot up to 5 in a day.
Really?
Up there. And so, and they're not that susceptible to calling right now. I mean, you can do some, and you can get them to come in. A lot of times they try to get in front of them, watch where they're feeding.
Have you ever been attacked by a turkey?
I have not.
Oh. You haven't been to Rockies?
I carry a shotgun. No. They drop about 15 yards before they get to me.
Okay, getting back. I got to do a commercial, and then we're going to get serious.
Wow. Yeah, sorry, folks.
Yeah. Hang on. Don't forget, this is a good sale. You ought to go up to this. You're in the cattle business. Quality always comes first with the best of bull and female sales going on at Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch. 3135 Elmore Road between Parma and Fruitland this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Friday the 19th, they're going to have the junior fitting and showing at 11 o'clock, followed by lunch and a buyer's social. Then a big day, Saturday the 20th, tri-tip lunch at noon, sale at 1 o'clock, and this is a ripping good sale. All the animals vaccinated and ready for shipment. Quality does come first with Molson, Angus, and Hereford Ranch sale coming up this weekend between Parma and Fruitland. Number to call 739-0725. Okay, now we're going to calm down a little bit from our turkey hunt. Elk stack yards. Are you trying to tell me that they're getting into the hay and causing problems?
They sure did last winter, and I'm guessing they will again this winter.
What do we do?
Well, what we've done, you see, and that's why I got my little Facebook page.
Oh.
So that I can remember exactly how many stack yards that we had built. But we've put up 12 stack yards. We got some money from the Wood River Land Trust. Blaine County, and they paid for installing the stack yards around haystacks. We had 12 of them, and we bought the materials with Sportsman's dollars from the feeding, from our depredation fund,
Mm-hmm.
and then we purchased materials for another 8. So about 21 total, 21 or 22 big stack yards we're putting in. Last year we had close to 40 animals that died in stack yards.
Really? They couldn't get out, huh?
Well, farmers, there's a lot of hay up there in the Wood River Valley, Fairfield and that area, and some of them had pulled equipment around haystacks, and the elk, we had a couple elk that actually jumped into headers of swathers trying to get to the haystacks.
Yeah.
We had
And you can't blame the farmers at all.
You can't.
Nope.
And we had a couple haystacks that were eaten so much they actually tipped over and landed on several elk.
Really?
And when you get a 1-ton bell falling from, 12, 14 foot in the air, that leaves an impact.
Is that what happened to you?
Pretty much. That's why I'm so short, Zeb.
Yeah.
And so we tried to get up there. This has just been a growing issue. The herds, it's really a good thing for sportsmen because the herds of elk are growing.
Yeah.
We've had great elk herd growth over the last 3 or 4 years. We're starting to see that move into the valleys, and so we're trying to take care of the problem so that the landowners and the ranchers don't lose their stacks.
But let me ask you this. The elk are more or less exacerbating their own problem, aren't they? There's still a lot of forage up in the hills, but now that they know where these haystacks are, they're going to keep continuing to come back.
Well, it's kind of like me when my wife puts a plate of cookies on the table. I'm going to go back there every time I get a chance. And
we understand. We can see what you look like.
Yeah. And so, and that's the same way this hay is to elk. It's just a candy jar, and they can get there. It's high in protein. It tastes good.
Yep.
They don't have to paw snow to get to it. Their bellies get full, and so it's you have to fence them off or take care of them in some way. And so, fortunately, we've had some great landowners that have been willing to work with us on this, and it's not the simplest thing. You think about it. Yeah, it's nice. Everybody's saying, "Oh, yeah, they're getting a brand new stack yard." Well, but before they didn't have to open the gates and swing these big, heavy gates that are 8 foot tall.
Wow.
And things like that, because elk will go over them. To get into their stack yards, they have to open them every time. They're going in and out of these stacks multiple times a day. And we're trying to increase the elk population for sportsmen in those areas. And so, Are
they effective?
You bet. What it is it's... what we do is we drive big wood posts in the ground, and then we've got 8 foot rolls of wire, net wire, like sheep fence, and we pull that around those tall poles, and you bet it keeps them out.
Okay, now I'm familiar with this next one, the I-84 Deer Underpass.
Yeah.
Not overpass, underpass.
Well, I just wanted to thank the landowners down there. We've been working with several of the landowners down there, Airmo Ranches, and then with Campbell's down there. And what's happened is they've got these underpasses that they use to move their cattle back and forth across the interstate, going from Unit 56 back into 55 and 57 down there. We worked with them and ITD, and we was able to put deer-friendly fence, wildlife-friendly fence. We put wildlife-friendly gates on them, and it allows deer to cross underneath the underpasses, because before, when they originally built that interstate, they'd just taken Powder River gates and bolted them to the underpass, so the deer couldn't get through them if the gates were closed.
I see.
And they had to go up on the interstate. What we've done is we put some long wings on them.
On the gates, not the deer.
Well, no. What we put is long wings from the overpass back, and then we put a gate that the deer can crawl under. And so now the deer can crawl under, go under the interstate. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, we have some good pictures of deer migrating through. We've got some trail cams up on a few of these.
It's amazing how smart wildlife is.
Oh, it is.
And they only had to watch that video that was showing down there of you crawling under the gate 37 times.
That was it.
Yeah.
I actually learned it from watching a deer do it first.
I see.
All this time I've been climbing over, tearing holes in my pants.
My goodness. It didn't take him long, only 17 years with the fishing game. Now, I'm going to say this next category, but I'm going to say it very slowly and articulate, because the way you've got it typed, both of us could end up in a lot of trouble. Bullwhacker our feed shed.
Yes.
Thanks, Skelton.
You bet. It's your day. It's your turn for the tongue twister. Say that 10 times fast. 5
dare
times fast. What's going on is we have the bullwhacker feed site in Warm Springs.
You cheated on the last word.
You bet. And what it is we have a feed site up Warm Springs, and when elk start migrating out of the mountains, it's to short stop them from migrating into downtown Ketchum. Several years before we'd had this, you'd have 100 to 200 elk that would migrate into town. This is the only feed site in the state of Idaho for elk that runs every year. We were able to go in there. We were able to get some money. We got a grant from... you can tell we had a few issues with elk last year up in Sun Valley.
Yes,
So this fall and this summer has been just nothing but trying to alleviate. We had a lot of elk mortality up in that area. We had a lot of damage to haystacks. We had some big snowstorms. We actually we'll be increasing tags up there next year because we'll be going through our season setting here before long, and we're trying to eliminate a few of these elk issues that we had.
Is the elk population, is it growing status quo, or with these problems on a lower end scale?
No, these are pretty big. These are big issues that we had. Yeah, I mean, we had 175 elk standing in this feed site.
Wow.
Typically, we've been at around 120 to 130.
Really?
A lot of years under 100. Populations increased. We had a lot of snow. We had a lot of snow early. It really exacerbated. How's that?
Exacerbated.
Thank you.
We're going to have a test on it tomorrow morning.
That's a big word for me.
Utah State, right?
Yes, via North Gym, Bancroft. And so now I have lost track of where I'm going.
Exacerbated.
The problem a lot. And so what we've got in, we went up there, we removed a whole bunch of the brush in the feed area. We've put in the new feed shed. We have 30,000.
You have me really scared.
Yeah. We've got 30 ton. What is it? We got more than that. I got to open my little Facebook page again.
Got to read the notes.
Because we've got $30,000, 106 tons of feed in the shed. That will allow us to feed 170 elk, 10 pounds of feed each day for 125 days. At the height last year, we had 170 some odd animals. We're hoping we don't get as much snow. And then we'll be able to put in multiple feed lines in there to be able to keep those. The issue is those elk migrate down into town. Then cars start hitting them. They fall in. Well, we had 2 instances where they fell in window wells and landed.
They what?
They were walking around the edge of houses, eating shrubs, fell in window wells, and ended up in people's basements.
No kidding.
And so
there's a new pool partner.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'll put it this way: you get a cow elk in your basement,
not good.
That's nervous.
That could really upset the pantry.
Well, it messes things up. I mean, you need a carpet cleaner, and then you run them up the stairs to get them out the back door.
Is that what you have to do?
That's how we ended up getting this cow out.
Up the stairs.
It just trotted right. We took the mattresses. Took mattresses, and they were kind of made a little gate. I mean, a fence, and she ran up the stairs.
Did you get a video of that?
There was all kinds of fun stuff on that. And so, and the carpet was not one of the fun spots.
So it wasn't the guy fixing the Maytag. It was the elk.
It was the elk.
Okay.
But ran up the stairs and out the back door. And so lots of issues when you get lots of elk in downtown, heavily populated areas.
My.
And so, we've got this feed site cleaned up, ready to rock and roll for let Mother Nature throw her worst at us, and I think we'll be okay this year.
But, in general, with the more that people move into an area and everything, there is the encroachment of wildlife, and then they become dependent, right?
I don't know if it's encroachment of wildlife or encroachment of human
beings
in wildlife habitat.
Yeah. But they become dependent on the human being for the feed.
Well, they do, you bet. I mean, you look at the crows and ravens and magpies we have around here.
Yeah.
If we didn't have major landfills near here,
they'd be gone.
Well, and we got a lot of confined feeding operations and things like that, which increase habitat for those animals because if there's food, they can have offspring, and they fill up that niche, that habitat, and so
it's like our welfare rolls. They ain't going to leave.
It is, and it just keeps increasing the populations of those, some of those critters that we're not interested in. I mean, elk we like because we like to eat them.
Yeah.
You know, crows and ravens never eaten one.
No,
so I don't
really.
know.
No.
Well, I can't shoot ravens, but there's a crow season. So
there is.
Yes.
How do you tell the difference?
One's bigger than the other, bigger beak. The tails. There's several little key things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Enforcement is still going strong. What does that mean?
Well, I was trying to put that night. We're just having a lot of poaching issues right now.
More so than usual?
Well, I must commend everybody. Things during hunting season was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
We had just few minor infractions, a few little cases here and there, but my heavens, this last couple weeks is just like Katie bar the door. It's like we've had some animals that were shot out here and near your place with high-powered rifles in a archery unit.
You're kidding me.
We've just had a multitude of different...
No, these are elk or
deer. Mostly mule deer. And we've had a few elk that have been taken. And so I guess the reason I bring this up is just kind of keep your eyes peeled. And if you see something fishy going on, give us a call. You can call us at the regional office, at 324-4359. You see, you got... Now, give me the CAP hotline number.
I can't, but I got your number memorized.
1-800-632-5999, or call dispatch, and they'll get a hold of the county dispatch, and they'll get a hold of one of our officers or one of the county officers.
So did you catch these people, I hope?
We've caught a lot of them.
Have you?
Yeah. We've probably had 10-plus animals taken illegally in the last just couple of weeks.
And do these people realize the severity of what they've done?
It's so tough anymore, Zeb. The thing is there's so many there's just so much stuff that's going on. They really look almost as poaching is not that severe,
Are you kidding?
But it is, because, they're stealing from the people of Idaho, and they're taking it illegal. I guess I just don't even understand the reasoning behind, because, I love to hunt. Don't get me wrong. I spend more time than I probably should hunting. But if I don't take it's like playing a game. If I cheat to win, is the victory is sweet.
Yeah.
And it's not.
That's absolutely right.
And that's what happens with poaching is because, they get the victory, they get the animal, they get the trophy, but how can you look at it? How can you look at it? It's not the mid 60s and 70s or 40s and 50s when people were doing this to survive.
Yeah.
It costs you more to go out and poach a deer right now than just call the local food bank and get free grub.
But no, wait a minute, stop it. We've only got a minute left here, but the severity. Why isn't the severity more extreme so that they'll appreciate their hands being slapped?
Well, some of our prosecutors and our judges are really good at it, and in other areas, they've got so many other issues that are so much more heinous that they're not quite as critical on that, and that comes from outcry from citizens. We can push things forward, and some of them, they get $1,000 fine or they lose a hunting license for a year or two, but it's really hard because none of the justice system is just tough. I feel for those people that work in that system because they've got so many things they have to deal with, and I'm just happy with the punishments that we can get through.
Kelton Hatch, Idaho Fish and Game. We've got another half hour. Your calls are welcome and appreciated, and we've got more issues to discuss. But before we take a break, I want to remind everybody about Streamline Precision, and they can build for you. That's right. The pre-engineered steel buildings, Nucor, Prime, Sukup, long-lasting and maintenance-free. Call Tim Vaughn today and get estimates for the new renovations on your property. Dairymen, cattlemen, everybody, be aware that they're ready to serve you, and now's a great time to line up that building. Streamline Precision specializes also in dairy parlors, free stalls, commodity storage facilities, and maternity barns. Call my friend Tim Vaughn, 888-431-7314. Right now, today, Streamline Precision. We're going to take a break. Be back in about 3 minutes. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR.
I'm going to have to eat your Jack Leonard.
436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
You know, the fun part of having Kelton Hatch with the Idaho Fishing Game on my program is he is...
Not my fault, Zeb.
He's not manageable.
You got control of the
I know,
on
but
and
you're
off
not
switch.
manageable. I said the microphone's going on, so he sits back in a chair, all 6'9.5" of him, and he yawns, and the yawn sounds like the bellow of a bull moose. And then he starts going after some Halloween candy that we take it. Eat it. Go ahead, please.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I might. Because candy corns, love them.
I know. Well, take
disgusting.
it with you, and please.
You don't want me rattling it just squeezing it by the microphone.
What
there?
good does it do to try to reprimand you? You're like a little kid at kindergarten, for heaven's sakes. Okay, here we go. We already kind of touched on this a little bit ago, but hunting seasons.
You know, good time of year. Get out and do something. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. Go out and pop something for Thanksgiving dinner.
Pop?
Well, shoot something. Get something for
This
Thanksgiving
is the
dinner.
Professional fishing game attitude.
Well,
pop something.
Do it legally. Do it legally.
No, but really...
Don't. I didn't say poach. I said
that's right.
Take something with a permit. And have it... We always try to have something wild at Thanksgiving.
To eat.
To eat.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so salmon, deer roast, game birds.
You and your wife must be very good cooks.
My wife is.
Yeah. Does she...
I cook a lot of the game meat and stuff like that.
I see. Where did you learn how to do that?
Being a bachelor man until I was 27. So,
27, huh?
Yeah.
Boy, it took you a long time to have somebody that gave you forgiveness to marry you.
Fortunately, she is farsighted. And so, but no, and it's just kind of fun to have something. You know what? I got to tell you a funny story about that, Zeb.
Okay.
I can still remember the first turkey my youngest son had harvested. He was like... I think he was 10 years old, and he took this turkey, and we sat down, had a little prayer, getting ready to eat, and he goes, "Did you guys forget something?" And I go, "What's that?" He says, "Well, you forgot to thank me for the turkey." And I just thought it was cute, but I mean, it means something to, I don't know. I like doing that myself, just to throw something different in there. I mean, the old goose is part of Thanksgiving tradition. Definitely see it. I mean,
really?
Goose. Oh, yeah, because it's just something that you provided yourself.
Kind of the pilgrim attitude.
Kind of the pilgrim attitude. Ranching, farming lifestyle. I mean, something you provided yourself.
Absolutely.
We don't grow the yams around here, but maybe somebody does. I don't.
Yeah.
But something that you provided yourself.
How much of your Thanksgiving dinner in the past as
it's usually me that eats it. My grandmother used to make mincemeat pie every year for Thanksgiving.
I never did like mincemeat.
And she always made the mincemeat out of the neck of the deer and cook it down. So it was actually meat pie. Awesome.
Didn't have that wild, gamey taste?
Not at all. It was awesome. She'd chop up apples and...
That is a complaint on a lot of deer and venison issues, is the gamey kind of a taste.
Well, I can tell you how to get rid of the gamey taste.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
Don't shoot them after the 15th. Get your deer before
the 15th.
Shoot
them after the 15th of what?
October. Don't take them after the... If you harvest animals before... They start rut, they get in that pre-rut, hormonal changes start in the deer and stuff like that, and so it can make the game meat stronger later in the year. Typically does or antlerless type animals don't have that. Bull elk can get stronger during rut in September during archery season, but once you get into November, December, and they're out of the breeding season, the hormones aren't running as heavy, and then it's just taking care of. I mean, if you harvested a beef cow out of your pasture and you left the hide on it and you kept it at 70 degrees, it's not going to taste good. I mean, the same goes with game animals. You have to get them cooled down, have to get the hide off, And then what they're doing, that time of year, it does, the time of year you harvest them does make a huge difference.
But there is a distinct difference, I think, in my own palate, that deer versus elk. I mean, boy, vast.
And there's a lot of people that feel that way. I personally like mule deer a lot better than elk. So does my wife. Oh. And we eat a lot of elk, but she kind of got burnt out on elk because I outfitted for a lot of years, and so we had a lot of game meat. I see. But a good venison roast is tough to go by for me.
Really?
And so, but it's something that you just have to practice on. Different recipes, different things. I really prefer a Dutch oven with a little Lipton onion soup mitt.
Are you a Dutch oven cooker?
For game meat, I am.
Wow,
I don't Dutch oven cook anything else. I haven't got that kind of patience.
Yeah, but you and old Kent Benson, Kent over at Burley. I mean, man, I tell you, and Deanne's into Dutch oven cooking too.
Well, that's good.
She makes a peach cobbler.
Well, that's good.
Have you ever made a peach cobbler?
I have.
How did we get on Dutch oven cooking?
I don't know. You was talking about how you cook game meat.
Okay.
I brought up Dutch oven, and then your mind went south again.
I got to ask you what this is. Bruno Dunes Rotenone?
Rotenone, very good. Rotenone is a plant.
Really?
That they grind up and they use to paralyze fish. It takes oxygen away from them.
What happens if you and I chew it?
Well, it probably make you sick, give you the shakes and stuff like that. But what we do with this rotenone, Bruno Dunes was really inundated with carp. Lots of carp. We have 2 ponds over there, the lower and the upper pond. This is the big pond that we rotenoned. We had an aerial application where they brought a spray plane in. We drained the lake as far as we could. We sprayed it with rotenone, and we removed almost a 6-ton of carp from this, which is a lot of stinking fish.
That's a lot of, and you're right, stinking fish.
And they had to dip net them.
Oh.
After they floated up on the bank, they were loading them into trucks and into the back of boats.
What did they do with them then?
Took them to the landfill, and they got rid of them or rendering place. I don't
bet you the people that lived near there were happy with you guys.
Yeah, well, that's why we got the carp off the lake so they didn't break down on the bank and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
But what we're trying to do is, and what this rotenone does, it deoxygenates the water so the fish...
Hold it. Time out. Kelton Hatch said a big one. Deoxygenate.
Get rid of the oxygen out of the water.
Utah State's proud of you.
There you go. And that's what killed the fish. And so they floated up. It was 98% of the biomass in the lake were carp. There was less than 2% of the fish that were actually game fish. We had gone in for 3 days with a shock boat and tried to shock all the bass that we could find. And we still missed a few, but this spring we'll be going back in and we'll be planting bluegill and bass back in there. We won't have the carp component, and so we.
How did the carp get so big in that area?
Well, they just take over. I mean, they're very aggressive fish. They can live in really putrid type water. I mean, they're kind of like a pig, is the way I look at a carp, because they root around in the roots. They eat algae and things like that. They like warm water temperatures, so them rooting around like that causes a lot of sediment to float.
How were they introduced here in the first place?
As a forage fish. A lot of people, you go to other countries, you go to the Midwest.
They like carp.
You can buy carp in a grocery store.
Not me.
You can buy filleted or smoked carp in grocery stores.
That's true.
And our Western is kind of like people that don't like pronghorn or mule deer or things like that. I mean, we just haven't acquired a taste for it. We've got trout. We've got other fish that we like to eat.
To me, it is follow me on this. Eating carp is the best fish to teach people not to eat any more fish.
Yeah. I've actually eaten carp, and it is really good if it's cooked right. And you have to deep fat fry it. And anything's good deep fat fried, because it gets rid of the bones and stuff like that. But, they can be good. They take a little bit of processing. You have to take the dark meat out. You don't want to eat that because it's really, really, really strong.
It's got a real gritty, kind of a real fishy taste if it's not cooked right.
If it's not cooked right.
Yeah.
So, but, everything I've had was cooked in little fillets. You dipped in tartar sauce. It was delicious.
Yeah.
But, like I said, you can put almost anything in batter and dip it in tartar sauce, and it tastes pretty
Even
good.
rotenone.
Even rotenone. Yeah.
But so anyway, the carp problem is going to be lessened.
It has, and this is like the third or fourth lake in the region that we've done this. This is just the most recent.
What about Murtaugh Lake? When are you going to do that one?
Well, Murtaugh Lake is one of those lakes that we'll never do it to.
Why?
Because in the winter it almost dries out, and in the summer we fill it with Snake River water.
They kept it full the last couple of years because of the recharge.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do it while the recharge was going on?
Because it's hooked to the Snake River that is the mothership of all carp in the world. I don't know how else to put it. There's just lots and lots and lots of carp in the Snake River. There's no way to ever clean the carp out of. Believe it or not, in my wastewater pond at my place.
You've got a wastewater pond?
I do, because when I flood irrigate my alfalfa, when I was still running ditches, I had a breach in my ditch, or my dam, and some of my tubes dried up, and the water started flowing over the top. I found 3 6-inch carp that swam a quarter mile across my hayfield in corrugates, got into my wastewater ditch, and went to my wastewater pond and made it nearly a half a mile.
No kidding.
And didn't die.
And this isn't a fish story.
No, this isn't. But, and late in the year, on my gated pipe, the gates will get plugged up with carp spawn or sunfish.
How in the world would I know where you live? How in the world would you get carp there?
You get the water off the high line that gets diverted to my lateral that goes through my head gate, and it all comes out of Murtaugh Lake.
You're kidding me.
No, and you can talk to any of you go down along any of these laterals and any of these feeder streams that go to different irrigation. People have fish. I mean, there's a lot of fish.
Right over here, right outside this window, you can see that irrigation net right there where the water comes up, and you see. I have sat there literally on the side of my house and seen fish shoot straight up in the air.
Yep, because they come in, and most of them, 99% of them are carp or sunfish of some type. Yep. And there's just not a lot that we can do about it. So.
I set up a whole box of toys for you.
I got a battery.
Kelton's toys, and he's playing with a battery, making all kinds of noise. Would you do me a favor and please pick up one of the squeegee toys?
I got the little baseball.
We've got a weather forecast, and then we got to come back. We're running late.
Okay.
Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Oh, my goodness, these are good folks. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew, 324-7657. Changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. What are you doing, Hatch? And don't forget, their locally owned custom meat processor serving you for over 20 years. Please, somebody throw Kelton a carp. Scarrow's Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, brings you the weather. Here's Gina.
Looks like we have a few morning rain showers, but after we get through with those, looks like partly to mostly cloudy skies for today. A little bit on the breezy side, winds out of the west right around 16 miles an hour. We are expecting a high of 42, tonight low of 24. Tomorrow, still breezy, but hey, no rain showers. Partly cloudy skies, high of 41 with an overnight low of 20. Partly cloudy and 44 for Friday with an overnight low of 25. And for Saturday, partly cloudy and 54. That is your weather for Zeb at the Range.
Thank you very much. And again, we want to thank Don Scarrow and the crew over there. Hey, if you've got wild game to be processed, they can make it into salami and brats and jerky and breakfast sausage, all kinds of delicious meats from Scarrow's Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Folks, it is a little disconcerting.
They were candy corns. I had to have one.
It is a little disconcerting when you invite this man into your office once a month to do a fish and game report. Nothing is sacred. I mean, he picks up and kinks all the wires, and he picks up all the play toys and has fun. Now he is eating our display candy.
Everybody heard you give it to me.
I lied.
Well, I'm eating them.
I know you are. Non-resident tags nearly gone.
They are.
Would you please not talk with your mouth full?
Well, then you're going to have to wait a minute.
He's eating the candy, Deanne. It was there on display, and all of a sudden, during that last commercial of the weather, he starts eating everything.
I saved you the witch's warts and the ghost poop. What's your little marshmallow?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now you got me laughing. Okay, non-resident tags. All the mule deer tags are gone. Almost all the elk tags are gone, the second tag, the non-resident tags. And we're down to less than 1,000 whitetail tags. So if you're interested in heading up north for a December hunt or November hunt, and you're procrastinating purchasing that whitetail,
what? I think your candy got between your eye teeth.
It did.
Procrastinating.
It did.
Yes.
You need to get up there and get your tag bought.
Okay, caller, please. Let Kelton have another piece of caramel corn. Go ahead.
Yeah, before he takes that next bite, I want to tell him about the carp.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, in the Snake River, right here in Burley, by the Hebron Bridge, they used to come in and seine for the carp, put them in a big truck in a kind of a tank or something, and take them to California or some other liberal state and sell it for freshwater tuna. Have you heard of that?
I've never heard of them taking it as for freshwater tuna, but I do know that they still seine for them right down there. I'm trying to think. It's by the potato factory on the old Highway 30. Just there off Overland, you turn and come down Old Highway 30, and there's a carp seine out there, and they still pick a lot of those carp out of there. I don't know what they're using the carp for, but they do have a permit for the carp, and then we have a lot of people that will come in and get seining permits and go to Murtaugh Lake and other places like this, or Wilson Lake, and try to catch carp, and they'll put them up for meat for the winter.
Wow.
You bet, it's common still.
Okay.
I've never heard it sold as freshwater tuna or anything.
I've seen them doing this. I asked them, where are you taking these fish to? And I don't remember exactly what they said, but they said it will be sold as freshwater tuna.
Holy cow. Keith, thank you very much. I learned something. Appreciate it. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Enjoy your carp.
All right. Happy anniversary. Okay. Non-resident tags. Have we covered all that?
They're nearly gone. And so if you're interested in getting a tag, get in there and get it purchased, because they will be gone, I'm guessing, within the next week.
One subject that Kelton has absolutely begged me to have plenty of time on this morning, his favorite subject, because he is an aviary wonder, and he puts up all kinds of things at his home, and they've got little bird feeders outside the windows and in the trees and everything. Kelton is absolutely demanding your strict listening to this next subject about bird seed
for
on
your sweet
sale.
wife.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because she's the bird feeder, not me. But no, we've just got our Christmas bird seed sale, or
Christmas?
Not Christmas. What holiday? Sorry.
What's the matter with saying Christmas?
Because it's not Christmas. It says holiday bird seed sale, because they're selling it now.
Doesn't say holiday on mine.
It does on mine, because I've got the whole deal.
All right.
And it's before Thanksgiving, and so that's part. But they have a holiday bird seed sale going on. If you're in Boise, the MK Nature Center. It's a education arm that we have there. We bring a lot of youth in there. It's a fundraiser to keep the facility open. They have a lot of different types of bird seed. And
like
so
what,
if you're,
Kelton?
Well, all I know is they're bird seed. They've got the black ones that look like sunflower seeds, and they've got thistle. I think they got thistle seed or something like that.
This is really explanatory.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not a bird feeder aficionado. So all I know is they've got bird seed for sale. If you're in Boise and you're interested in some, they got a good deal on it. You can get it there, and they'll be selling it through December 3rd.
How much?
You'd have to call them at 287-2900.
Okay, and that's
they did not give me the price list.
Okay.
I just said, Zeb looks like a bird feeder. I'll talk about it.
My lovely bride loves to feed the birds. Now, can you buy it in certain quantities?
I think you can buy as much as you want.
Or as little as you want.
Not as little. I think it comes in bags.
I see.
Pre-sealed bags.
How big are the bags?
We've got a bird seed sale on. So that's about.
I love total information for our audience.
Well, that's why they call me the information officer. So that's the bird seed. If you ask me about deer, I can probably cover
that. And the number to call for this bird seed again is
287.
Yeah.
We've got to find it. 2900.
That's an easy number to remember.
287.
One would think that you would have called that number to get the particulars.
Yeah, well, I printed that out just before I walked out the door to come and talk to you.
I see.
In case I need something to save me at the end, I'll have it. Evidently, I hung myself with my saving story.
How are our dear friends, the Wolves, doing?
Haven't had a lot of sightings or complaints. We have had a couple hunters. We did have a guy that came in and checked two that he took the other day. He had his tags.
Here locally?
No, they're all up north that they've been taken, and there hasn't been. I'm thinking we probably killed 3 or 4 or maybe 5 in all of the Magic Valley region this year.
Really?
By hunters. That was one of the survey questions when we talked to sportsmen when they was coming through if they'd seen wolves. Only had 1 or 2 people that had, I think, well, the elk population is growing the way they are, and hunters are getting better at it. I think we're getting pretty good management on our wolves. We still have the viable population that we need to make sure that we always have them in the state, but we're getting them controlled to the point that we're not seeing negative impacts on all of our. The Frank Church, the Selway, those wilderness areas, we're still having major impacts from wolves on elk populations.
Does that caramel corn that you're eating, does it make you burp on the microphone? Is that what your problem was?
No, it doesn't. I like it.
I can tell.
It's I don't know, it's kind of a gross little candy, but I really like it because it's just straight sugar, but it makes me feel really good.
Yeah. Your eyes, they started to widen up, and your whole
it's the
personality
first sugar
changed.
I've had all day.
My goodness, you're going to go back on tall buildings and catch airplanes.
My wife doesn't let me have candy.
I can see that. I'm going to pay some bills
Makes
here.
me jittery.
I can see that. Anyway, don't forget all your tires. All your tires for winter driving at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Ice, snow, rain. Don't worry about it. Stop in and see any one of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They can and will help you. And along with the tires, all the different tread designs, everything for your safe winter driving. Don't forget the best in brake service. And, of course, with their professionally trained technicians serving you. The best of front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. You better believe it. Get ready for old man winter. You stop in and see your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers today. Lane over in Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and my buddy Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got about a minute and a half left. Anything else you want to really educate us on? Besides how delicious my candy was that you ate?
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
There's nothing sacred on this desk.
There is. My candy corn now, because it's mine.
Yeah.
But no, I just say, make a tradition this year for Thanksgiving. Get out, do something different, shoot trap, go get your Christmas tree.
Yeah,
do
that's
something,
a good idea.
Eat something wild, just get out, that, and that's what's fun. My kids, they love it when their cousins come over for Thanksgiving because we go out and we shoot trap. And
have you ever thought about you and your wife being that you can really process and cook wild game, maybe hiring out to various families around the area, and you'll go cook their Thanksgiving dinner?
Not on your life.
I see.
It's too important of a meal to me.
Okay. All right. What are we going to have for very important subjects next month?
I really don't know. Probably the things to buy sportsmen for Christmas.
Good thinking.
That last minute list of Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And
by the way, something that you've never given me.
I did. I gave you a coffee mug last year. I think it was the other way around. You've never given me.
I'll give you something. I promise.
Didn't I give you a fishing? Yeah. Josh brought you the fishing game.
Yeah, I've used
coffee mug.
I've used it. We have given you certain items too.
Yeah, candy corn.
Candy corn.
Yeah, I had to steal it when you weren't looking.
Thanks, Kelton.
Well, I appreciate it. You having me out here.
Idaho Fishing Game, good guy, Kelton Hatch, and he'll be back next month with more representing the Idaho Fishing Game. We're going to wrap it up and put it back in the box for the day, and God bless you and your family. Zeb at the Ranch will be on tomorrow morning at 8:06. Don't forget the way things were are the way things ought to be. We'll see you tomorrow morning.